All right, everybody, welcome back to another podcast with myself, William, and my friend, Kyle.
Hello, I am Friend. My name is Kyle. It is a pleasure to get to know and see you guys all again, even though this is just audio.
Wow. Kyle, how does my audio sound? Does it sound all right?
Oh yeah, it sounds fine to me.
Okay, I was trying not to keep my mic too far up. I have a bad habit of doing that. I don't want to hear myself breathe.
Yeah, that's just disrespectful. How dare you?
But anyway, welcome back, everybody, to another podcast episode. This is our first IT review, and we're doing it on Moon Knight episode 1 and episode 2. Also, Kyle, yes, my dinner was good. Thank you for asking. I had a
Yeah, no problem.
cheeseburger. I made it. I made it at home. It was really good.
That sounds delicious.
So, what about you?
Oh, I just had pizza. I'm nothing special. It was pizza
Okay.
from Domino's,
Okay.
so it was good as far as pizzas go.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, and let me just say to the audience here real quick, I before recording watched episode 2 and
Wait.
my goodness.
But wait. No, I'm recording right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was just saying to the audience, it was fantastic.
Oh yeah. Episode 2.
Oh yeah, episode 2 and also episode 1, like they're both just phenomenal so far.
I both thought they were pretty good. Like compared to all the other shows that Marvel has been doing this past year.
Mhm.
Um, I would say Moon Knight is probably the best one. Like it's up there for me.
Really?
Well, yeah, I really liked it. So far I really like it.
Mhm.
Um,
For me, I think Loki is still number 1. Just my personal opinion,
hmm
but Moon Knight is getting up there.
And okay, so yeah. So with Moon Knight, here let me tell you something.
I'm ready.
The reason I really like and enjoy Moon Knight is because one, Moon Knight is one of my favorite heroes.
Okay.
So I've been waiting years for them to not only do Moon Knight but to do it right. And so far,
Mhm.
I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about Moon Knight, but he is one of my favorite Marvel heroes. Um, I would say that, but from what I do know of about him, that didn't make any sense. Wow, of about him. Jeez, what the fuck? I can't speak, ladies and gentlemen. Um, from what I know of Moon Knight, I know that there needs to be some blood involved. There needs to be
Mhm.
that. It needs to have that Batman type esque feel, and it definitely needs to capture, his multiple personalities. Which I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure he has more than two, because I know he has Mark Spector, and then he has Stephen Grant. So I know he has two, but I think he has a third one, if not more. Um, and he's like Deadpool in certain regards, but he's like a dead between a Deadpool. To me, he's like if Deadpool and Batman had a baby, and the baby worshipped the moon. That to me,
There we go. Okay.
that's Moon Knight. It takes all of the great qualities that we love about both Deadpool and Batman, and it's thrown into a character.
Yeah, that's fair enough. One thing that I personally really like about the character is there's a more grounded to reality aspect about him. much like with Thor, where it deals in mythology. With this one, there's a lot of Egyptian art. There's a lot of Egyptian gods involved, and so since that's something that I and you probably as well, both William and the viewers have like studied in school, it's so interesting to have that come out as a part of a great Marvel character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's one of my just absolute favorite things about the character. And me personally as well, I don't know too much about him. I know the bare bones, basically, of who he is and how he became who he is as well. And I think they're doing a great adaptation so far. And I was a little bit nervous when they first casted Oscar Isaac because
Yeah.
I've only seen him in a couple different things and he never really had that chance to broaden who he is as an actor. It's always been honestly like two-dimensional characters except for inside Llewyn Davis, I think is the name of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so nice to see him just broaden his range and really show everyone that he is a good and talented actor.
Oh yeah. I completely agree. At first, I think when I first found out about his casting, it was either back in October. I think it was like back late October. I remember
Yeah,
one night.
that sounds about right.
One night, it was either I might have already have known of his casting by then, but one night I was getting ready for bed. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm laying down. I'm just scrolling like through Instagram, and I saw like a leak of of the first episode, and it wasn't a video. It was a picture of Moon Knight, like just kind of standing
Oh,
there,
okay.
like a leak of like what he's gonna look like. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, I had that oh shit moment
Yeah,
because I'm like that looks. At first, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, okay, that looks a little weird, but now that I see it on camera and I see it, in the show, um, so like, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Because going into this, I was nervous. And
hmm,
right now I'm not nervous at all. I 110% am hoping that in the last 4 episodes, because I think they're only doing 6,
yeah,
I'm hoping that the last 4 episodes are going to deliver. Because
hmm,
so far, the first 2 episodes, pacing's good, story is interesting, it's there, staying true to the lore, staying true to the comics,
hmm,
very important. It's not really filled with any subliminal messaging, or it's not trying to push some sort of additional narrative, some sort of agenda. There's no politics
yeah,
involved. I know a lot of recent media and film, there's politics that, or they'll have very similar parallels to what's going on in today's society, things like that.
absolutely.
Mhm. And so, but no, like, you go to watch Moon Knight, and Moon Knight's job is to deliver and entertain, and it does that. It does that.
Exactly.
So, and there's just so much to talk about, even with just the first 2 episodes. There's so much to talk about. I
Oh
don't even.
yeah. One
I
thing that I think you Oh,
got.
sorry. I think you might have cut out there for a second. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, oh, sorry about that. All I heard was one thing. One thing that I think you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, one thing that I think that you briefly talked about as well is when you first saw the character in that leak. Um, I think I also saw the same image as well, and I knew that it was going to be digitized afterwards. And with leaks, it's usually pre CGI. It's just, if anything, just now getting to after filming. And but I was already impressed with the costume design
Hmm.
from seeing that one leak. And seeing the show now in its fully fledged state, I am still, if not, excuse me, even more impressed with the costume design, and not only with that, scenic design as well, and just the absolutely amazing direction of the show itself with the mirrored images showing how him by himself, it's never truly just a still image. There's reflections, there's splits of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like he has that trifold mirror, and we constantly see like two, three different versions of himself within one shot, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I would say, and you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the shots in. There are certain shots within the show right now that make it feel very comic book, and that's something
Mm-hmm.
with cinema and comic books. It works when it does it right. Like for example,
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire. The scene where he throws the suit into the dumpster and walks away, taken right out of the comic
yeah,
books.
that's a fantastic shot.
Taken right out of the comic books. With the glove kind of hanging out. Then you also have, what else is it? You also have Joker with a lot of the alley shots where it's kind of like up on the side of the building, looking down from an angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even with the Joker deleted scene that we talked about last episode with the from the Batman, like with that up close mouth shot from I forget who is portraying the Joker, but when it shows his mouth, like that's taken directly off of the cover of the Joker that I think was made back in like 2010. I want to say.
Yeah. Um, Jesus, I'm losing my train of thought.
It's all right. It's late at night when we're
Yeah.
filming right now, and we are
Yeah.
both just out of our minds and tired. So sorry, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen, that I'm listening
I'm
about this.
left. I'm left. I don't know about you, but that second episode, it leaves me wanting more. It leaves me wanting
Oh
more,
yeah,
and I just keep thinking about it. And like,
absolutely.
what is it? I rewatched, and the reason I was late tonight to the podcast, Kyle, was because I actually rewatched episode 1 and 2 back to back.
Oh okay, absolutely.
So so I rewatched episode 1 and 2 back to back, and sorry, I'm just yawning. Um,
Sorry, buddy.
I rewatched episode 1 and 2 back to back. Episode 1, no complaints. I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
complaints for episode 1 or really episode 2 that I can think of at the moment, because when I was sitting there, immediately from the first shot where it's I don't remember his name, but it's oh shit, what's the actor's name?
Oh, Ethan Hawke's character.
Yeah, he looks like Kevin Bacon's twin, which is kind of weird. But Ethan Hawke's his character immediately loved the shot, loved the lighting, I love the tone, I love the music, and that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. The music fits like when Oscar Isaacs when Steven wakes up in his apartment and immediately he's late to his job, or he knows that he has this multiple split, I don't know what's worse, dual personality disorder, split personality disorder. He knows that he is not only a danger himself or potentially a danger to others. So he chains himself up to the pole at night in his bed. And
Mm-hmm.
then, I don't know why, but he has the sand around his bed. I thought maybe that was to ward off evil spirits or something.
It's fun that you bring that up too. When I first saw that, I was also very confused, and then it wasn't until he woke up and stuck his foot directly in the sand where I realized it's like, oh, it's so he can have a visual imprint if he did try and get up at night.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense. I didn't even catch that. Because there's a lot of stuff I catch when I rewatch something, but there I know there's always something new I've never noticed. It's like when you watch a movie. You could watch a movie 1,000 times, and then you watch it 1,001 times, and there's still one thing that you didn't notice in the background.
Exactly.
So,
And
like,
especially with something like that too,
yeah,
when it's just purely visual, where it just lets the audience like catch in and try and notice these subtleties.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, the tone, the lighting, the music. I really love the song choice of
Hmm.
oh Jesus, what's that song called again? I actually have it on my iTunes. Um, Engelbert Humperdinck, I think is his name.
I'm
Humperd
not sure.
Humperdinck, I think is his name. But anyway, he a man without love. Every day I
Oh, okay.
wake
Yeah,
up, da-da-da-da-da-da. you know, and it fits. It's very odd how it fits the scene, but it works. And then that's another thing. The character is in a some way with all this craziness that's like when Ethan Hawke's character is like there's chaos in you. Yeah, there's chaos in him, but he's also relatable. He goes
hmm,
because of his split personality disorder or whatever it is that he has. Um, he's trying to go out on a date, and then by the time he gets to the date, he's 2 days past their date, and he's sitting
yeah,
there. And the thing I really love that scene, and I think it's because not only is it's impactful, it's emotional, and it's relatable. um,
yeah.
he's sitting there, and the waiter's like, would there be anyone else joining you tonight? And then he's like, I'll have the steak. And then he's like, is that all? Well, how would you like it done? He's like, oh yeah, and he's tearing up. He's fighting back tears. He's just sitting there. He's fighting back tears. And he's trying not to cry, and be a disappointment. And obviously break down in public.
Exactly.
Um, that scene right there, and it's just the eyes. Oscar Isaac knows how to act with his eyes, and his eyes are red. They're puffy. They're swollen. They're exhausted. They're glazed. They're full of tears. They're full. It has all of the emotions it has to have to feel real and to
Exactly.
capture you and draw you in, and it does that. Um, so so with that being said, and I do love, just like the comics, how he kind of has his blackouts, um,
Yeah.
and he changes into Moon Knight. I think that was really cool. I love it. I love watching Moon Knight beat the shit out of any of his enemies. I think it's cool that he's
Hmm.
fighting these Egyptian creatures or anybody else. Excuse me. I think that's freaking cool. Um, I want to see him fight more like maybe Egyptian gods and stuff like that. I want to see him. I want to see him fight. More like mummies and stuff. And I'm hoping
Yeah.
that maybe we'll get some sort of like mummy reference, or they'll do like a callback to the Mummy, because I actually really do like those movies.
Oh yeah, the Brendan Fraser ones. Who
Yeah,
can't love Brendan Fraser?
I grew up with that. Um, and my dad was like, in my eyes, as cool as Brandon Fraser. When I was that young, when I first saw those movies, when I was like 6. Um,
Hmm.
so there's that, and it's Moon Knight is a cool character because he's not just like when I think of Moon Knight, I think of Batman, Deadpool. I think of multiple characters that embody a single character, and I think that's what's cool. And that's another thing. Like I loved second episode, we got to see Steven's version of Moon Knight.
Yeah,
He's
Mr. Knight.
yeah, Mr. Knight. He's in the suit, and he's got like his what is it, batons. It's cool. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, what is it? When do I get to see Moon Knight team up with the Avengers? I'm ready. Like, let's go.
Oh yeah.
So, um,
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like that, what they have set up so far in this series and this um, show of Moon Knight is honestly the reason why I love Marvel. I love how they set up characters, and in my eyes, since the MCU has came out, starting with like the first Iron Man movie, there's only a couple, like maybe two or three, where I'm just like, it was okay. But for the most part, all of the MCU, including these limited series that they're doing, are just phenomenal.
hmm
The one thing to like kind of sidebar off of Moon Knight, but still talk about like the MCU, is the only thing that I really have to say, just as a general broad statement, is I think that the one thing that the Phase 4 is lacking a little bit is timeline for itself. And I'm not sure if they're doing this on purpose as like a metaphorical state of just showing that they are setting up a multiverse and that there is timeline issues. But some of the things that they've came out since the blip or the snap have been really hard to place. Like I'm not sure, aside from after the snap where the Eternals takes place, because nothing's referenced about a giant celestial being raised from the water.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I noticed that when WandaVision had wrapped up and Loki's last episode had just came out, people were speculating and saying like, I wonder when Kang the Conqueror is saying this is the point of no return, or we just crossed the threshold, if that's when Wanda became Scarlet Witch. And now it's just, I'm not sure where any of this stuff takes place.
The timeline is a
And
little
aside
wonky.
from, yeah, exactly. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be one movie, one moment where everything is just summed up and it's like, oh, okay, I now know the chronological placement of all these things.
hmm
I'm wondering if there's going to be that moment or if it's just going to kind of be speculation and it's just going to stay, watch it in whatever order makes you happy as long as it's after the blip.
You know what? Maybe that'll take place in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I hope so. I actually just bought my tickets for that today.
Oh, that. You know what? I just realized I still have my gift cards. Um,
Do it, buddy. Do it now. Get yourself some good seats. It'll be my treat. You can pay for it, but it'll be my treat.
wait, what? What did you say? The fuck did you just say?
I said it'll be my treat. You can pay for it, but it'll be my treat.
Oh, thanks, thanks. Yeah,
You're
I'll be
welcome.
like,
It's my prize to you, buddy.
I'll buy the tickets. I'll be sitting there. Kyle's such a nice guy. Click.
Yeah. Get yourself a large popcorn for me too. Like it's all my
Yeah,
treat. But you can get it. You can buy it.
yeah, I still have $100 credits. I've been waiting to use that for something. I need to go see Morbius too, so we can do a review on it and actually
Oh, absolutely.
talk about it thoroughly. So yeah, uh, with Moon Knight, I'm loving the music. I'm digging the vibes. Everything's it's checking all of the boxes. What could go wrong? Other than obviously they screw it up. Um, But so far, it's having a much better track record to me. Like, if I have to compare it to the Book of Boba Fett, it's like 2 episodes in, I'm already wanting just immediate. I want to sit down. I would sit down tonight and watch all of them if they released them. Whereas the Book of
Yeah,
Boba Fett, yeah, I was excited to see the next episode, but I wasn't like ecstatic. Like I wasn't looking forward to it. I thought of it more as like, okay, today's Wednesday night. Got to sit down and watch the Book of Boba Fett. I'll get around to it.
yeah,
Oh boy, another episode of
yeah.
the.
Like with the Book of Boba Fett, I'm just like, I finish an episode, and I'm like, oh well, that sucked, and I chuck the remote across the room. And with this, I'm like, why did it have to end? Where's more?
Yeah,
And like a next episode comes out, I'm just like, I have some time to kill. I guess I'll watch the Book of Boba Fett. Whereas this, it's like I cannot wait for Wednesday because that's when I get a new episode.
yeah. And I haven't felt this way since I was watching like Marvel's What If, the animated series,
Okay.
and I thought
Yeah.
so. Out of everything last year except for Spider-Man, obviously Zack Snyder's Justice League was my favorite last year. Second was Spider-Man, but in terms of television, probably my favorite series was the Marvel What If.
Interesting. Okay.
But it wasn't because it was because with that show, it was it was the animation at first. I watched the first episode. I thought the animation was stupid. At the beginning, I thought I'm like, oh, this is kind of dumb. This is for kids. This isn't for adults. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. And then I'm watching more and more and more, and eventually I get to the Doctor Strange episode, which is one of the best episodes besides like the last
Yeah.
2 episodes of that series. The Doctor Strange episode is amazing. He's like going through, and he's talking to the Watcher, and he's like, "What what have I done? Like, what? I need to fix this point in time, And then the Watcher's like, "You cannot fix this point in time. There's no reality where basically you like you save Christine, I think is her name.
Yeah. Christine.
There's no reality where no, it's not. It's not that, was it? No, no. There's no point in time in reality where he I think he gets in the car or like he gets in the car with her and then they die. Yeah,
Yeah.
they both die in every single. It's like in every single multiverse, Tony Stark dies. Which I do have a theory about that coming up in the Doctor Strange movie.
Okay.
I'm thinking in the Doctor Strange movie there will be a Tony Stark who not only is successful with the Iron Legion, like you see in the trailer, but
Mhm.
he has his bleeding edge armor.
Oh yeah, the Superior Iron Man.
The it's like the armor that comes out of his body.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I've heard rumors that they're gonna have Tom Cruise play like a Tony Stark variant, which I think would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what they do with that because like he was one of the first people that they called in to audition for Iron Man back in 2008. I want to say.
hmm I honestly am hoping they do it. And so in the trailer, there's like a small little point for the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness where you see like this one figure kind of come out of the rubble who looks like it could be like Tom Cruise's Iron Man, but you can't really tell because of the way it's like
Oh,
shot.
because it's a Shadow and Glow.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shadowy glow. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen that, but I don't know. Marvel's really clever with how they edit their trailers and how they change stuff until the movies come out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's for sure.
like they did with the Spider-Man movie. They just flat out removed Toby and Andrew from every shot.
Exactly. And even with the Infinity War movie, how they digitally erase some of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, somebody remembers. Somebody remembers.
Exactly. You can't
Um,
forget something like that. That's embedded in history right there.
right. Um, but what is it? Yeah, back on track. Yeah, Moon Knight. I love the shots. I love the theme. I love the feel. I love the lighting. I love everything about it. Um, first episode was great. I love the ending where he's in the bathroom and he's Mark's like, Steven, you got to let me take control. If you let me take control, you're not going to die. And he's
Mhm.
like, okay, and then he turns into Moon Knight. You get a cool shot, a couple seconds of him where he's beaten on one of the, what did he call him? He called him a I can't remember. He's beating on him. He's beating on him, and he he turns around and then he walks into the camera. I like that. I
Exactly.
thought that was a
Get that
great
hero shot.
I thought that was a great way to end the episode. And then I don't know if you stuck around for the credits, but the credits I noticed had a very, like, it had all the different shots and themes of Moon Knight. Like, so you know how when you go see like a Marvel movie and at the end of the movie it'll show like different silhouettes of the character's movie, of like Captain
Yeah,
America, like
absolutely.
it'll show his statue, it'll show his shield. They did that with Moon Knight. And when I was watching that, I realized then after today, especially after watching the first episode, this series compared to some of the other Marvel series almost feels like it had a this series feels like it had a larger budget.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially compared to one like Hawkeye. Like this one has a much bigger budget. It feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely impressed with it so far. And once again, like I cannot wait for Wednesday.
Yeah. No, I'm already excited for next Wednesday as well. Um, let's see. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about. Blood. So in the first episode, you get a little bit of blood. When he's beating up some of the other people, his hands are covered in blood. The
Mm-hmm.
other people, excuse me, are covered in blood. Um, when I love, because that is Moon Knight's the comics. They're the equivalent of Batman, and they're brutal, and there is some blood in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they stick true to that. And that's great, because Marvel is owned by Disney. I don't want everything that comes out of Disney to be too, what's the word I'm looking for, to be too, I guess, friendly. You know, um, I and that's how some of the earlier Marvel films you can kind of tell, like they'll teeter around and they won't, like, swear, or they won't there's no blood, with certain things. There's just scrapes and bruises. But like with this show, like there's a scene where, Oscar Isaacs, he's like, "Oh shit," or there's a something there's something whenever there's something going on, the show isn't afraid to get a little gruesome, and
Exactly.
I think that's
And I think
perfect.
that's something that they are starting to learn, like they, meaning Disney as a corporation itself, with buying all of these um, like commodities, basically. You need to start having some gritty realism because not every single person who's going to come and see your content is going to be expecting children's content. And so them starting to like drop f bombs and starting to show blood, I think is just a testament to how much Disney wants to change for the fans themselves.
Yeah, the fans are a little more grown up since 2008. That's
Mm-hmm.
12, 14 years. So they've been pumping this stuff out for already 14 years. And I can't believe, like, 14 years that this universe has really been around. And we have 14 years of
Exactly.
content to kind of consume. It's actually mind boggling. I think there's over 30 films now. Um,
Oh yeah,
35 or something like that. And there's plenty more on the way. Um,
exactly. And
but
one thing that I think is cool, since we're talking about Disney real quick, is when I rewatched all of the MCU movies and prep for Endgame, I completely forgot that from Iron Man up into, I think, the first Avengers movie was owned by Paramount, which is Fox, a Fox-owned company. And so it wasn't until they bought out all of that where it really became Disney.
hmm well, because the Marvel films they felt a little different when they were owned by Paramount. Like after pre like 2012, before 2012, they feel different. They feel a little more. They have that little more like sheen to them in terms of like
Yeah,
like a more of a shiny kind of product. Whereas after that, they feel more a little broken in, not quite as shiny, but still new. After 2012, and then now
totally.
after I'd say 2018, 2019, the Marvel feels it doesn't feel dirty. It just feels like now it's developing a patina, almost like leather. Like when leather gets that nice dark deep color and then it has, all like you've had a wallet or a watch or a belt or shoes, for so long and it develops that beautiful patina.
Exactly.
That's kind of what Marvel feels like at this point, which is great, but it still needs it's there's still certain things it feels like it's missing and like the next hero that I'm waiting for them to do either a film or a series just as good as Moon Knight, if not better, Ghost Rider. Give me
Okay.
give me Ghost Rider. Hell, I wouldn't be sad if they brought back Nicolas Cage. I honestly like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. I mean, I thought it was cool because there's a scene where he, freaking jumps off the bridge, lands in the water, comes up above the water, and then he's driving on the water. And when he comes up, he's flipping off all of the cops, and then he's laughing like, you know, he's like
Yeah.
fuck you, or he's like screw you or something. He's flipping off all the cops. I didn't even realize he did that until I rewatched Ghost Rider like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh yeah.
I was
One
like,
that I'm really excited for that I know that they're in development of right now is Blade. I cannot
yeah.
wait for Blade.
Well, that's another one. Wesley Snipes. The Blade movies were great, and it's like even if all these they bring back all of these older pre MCU Marvel heroes, basically because
Mhm.
of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and because of the Spider-Man movie, all they have to do is say, oh, "Okay, it's the multiverse." So they've been around this.
Exactly, and
They've
it's
been
canon.
they've been around this whole time. It's canon. It's the multiverse. So that's why you had these little pocket films like the early 2000 Hulk films. As cringy as some parts of them are, there's still it's all like the Spider-Man movies, all of them, as even though they're not even though a lot of these films like Ghost Rider, there's a lot of these films that they're not perfect. The reason I think they hold such high value to me is obviously one because of nostalgia, but because there are certain things that they did in those movies they did absolutely 110% correct. Like with Ghost Rider,
Mhm.
the way they designed his character, the concept art, the way they designed his character, I love. compared to what we got for like Agents of Shield.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, like aside from the nostalgia feeling growing up with these, the first real taste of comic books that I had was going to the movies. And for me, that was seeing like the Michael Keaton 80 Batman movies and seeing the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. And so that's what introduced me, excuse me, to comics just as a broad statement. And then from that moment on, whenever I was reading them, I was reading them as the characters that I saw on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so my Batman, ever since I was a little kid, has been Michael Keaton. My Peter Parker, my Spider Man has always been Tobey Maguire. And like just coming to realize that, and when they changed it to Andrew Garfield, it's just like, yeah, I know that some of the things in the Tobey Maguire movies were questionable, but that's not my Spider Man. And with Tom Holland, I think we get a good taste of like a perfect blend of Peter Parker and Spider Man, but it's not Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
It's not Nicolas Cage. It's not Wesley Snipes. It's not Chris Evans, Fantastic Four. Uh, Gosh, what's his name?
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm. Fuck.
It's and so it's all these different things that it's not mine. It's not what I grew up with. And since I was a '90s kid, like these were the things that I have known and have had and held so dear to my heart. And it's great seeing how they're portraying them on the big screen right now, but it's still not what I have read for 10, 15 years beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, no, I agree. I agree. And like, so I remember when Andrew Garfield was cast as Spider Man, and the movies came out, and I never even watched them. I didn't watch them all the way up until right before No Way Home came out. I'd never seen a
Okay.
single Andrew Garfield movie or the Amazing Spider movies that he was in, and I watched them the day before I went to go see that film. I
Interesting.
watched
Okay.
them, and then I go see the movie, and I absolutely Andrew Garfield is a great actor. He has the acting
Oh, yeah.
chops. Unfortunately, those films he was kind of set up to fail because of the writing. Because of the plot. It's not that good. However, he kills it. He kills it as Peter number three in No Way Home.
Absolutely.
He makes you fall in love with him. You can't help but fall in love with him.
And honestly, just seeing any movie that Andrew Garfield has been in, both before and after the Spider Man movies, you can't help but fall in love with just Andrew Garfield as a person. He's a fantastic actor, and he's just quite frankly a good person.
Yeah, 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 and yeah. So I'm excited for all of that. Um,
Me too, 100%.
I hated that. I keep yawning. Shit. Um,
That's all right.
but
I feel the same exact way.
so Moon Knight, it's delivering. I'm honestly trying to find something wrong with it so far. I'm going through all of the boxes. I
Mm.
cannot find anything that's wrong with it. And normally, I'm the first person to come out and say, that movie is shit. That TV show is garbage. Why are you watching that? I'm gonna go watch Lord of the Rings on repeat. For the for the 100th time because there's nothing else is good. Nothing else that's new is good. Um,
Mm.
yeah, Moon Knight's great. Moon Knight is phenomenal. Um, it captures. It's checking off all the boxes, and there's a lot of scenery too. Like the scenery when he's on top of that like miniature stage with the um, the second episode, and he's talking to Kona Shan, I think it is, or I can't remember how you pronounce the moon god's name. Konashu.
Mhm.
The moon god's name. They got I think an Oscar-winning actor to voice that moon god. At first, I thought it was
Yeah.
Liam Neeson because it kind of sounds like Liam Neeson, but I looked it up and it's a guy named F. Murray William, I think it is.
Mhm.
F. Murray Williams. Um, but the voice of, or it might be Onashu. Konashu? Either way, you know, this show makes me, I'm more curious now about Egyptian mythology, you know. For years and years and years, a popular mainstream thing has been like, Norse mythology. But now with Egyptian mythology in the MCU, I'm like very, very curious as to learn more about it. To learn more
Yeah.
about,
Absolutely.
the Eye of Horus, to learn about Anubis, the Temple of Amun Ra, to just learn about all of these Egyptian themed anything. Um, Plus, I love the Mummy soundtrack. I love all the Egyptian themed music they have from those movies.
Mhm.
So another thing I wanted to talk about with Moon Knight, the costume. Besides that looking fucking perfect, and that's one thing I do love about Phase 4 that they've gotten right is very very comic book accurate costumes.
Exactly, and especially how they transition between the two, like seeing the integrated suit that Spider-Man had in both No Way Home, and then they brought into, or excuse me, from Far From Home into No Way Home, and then at the very end, that hero shot of just having him,
He
excuse
made it.
me,
Yeah, he
have
sewed
the
his own suit.
traditional red and blue.
Yeah, yeah.
See, now I'm yawning.
Yeah,
God.
I think you might. Well, either you yawned or you cut out for a bit. But Phase 4, comic book accurate suits. Moon Knight's kicking ass. Like I feel
Mhm.
bad because I don't have a lot to talk about with Moon Knight. I don't have anything bad to say, so I feel like I have nothing. I feel like I have nothing to say at all because I know, which I know isn't true. Um, there's a lot, and one thing I noticed is I love how the show, besides the action shots that we're getting and the story that we're getting, um, the story is very original. To me,
Exactly.
you have a character who has multiple personalities, who's living all of these different lives. He doesn't know what's going on in his own head. He's fragmented. He's split. And here he has his alleged wife knocking on his door, or dropping, saying, "Hey, you're my husband." He's just like, "What?" And then it's just complete like what the fuck of a story is even going on? Like it's easy to keep up with, but at the same time it's so there's layers to it, excuse me. And I love that. I love anything that's a mind fuck in terms of
Mhm.
cinema or film, like Christopher Nolan, all this stuff. I love that shit. I love the stuff that makes you takes you to a deeper level of your mind. And um,
Exactly.
I feel like Moon Knight does that because you're getting scenes like where he falls asleep and then he wakes up and then he thinks what everything that had happened was a dream, but he realizes it wasn't a dream because when he gets up, his goldfish regenerated one of its fins, and then he
Mhm.
goes into work. He finds out 2 days have or 2 days has gone by, since Friday, since he was supposed to go on that date with that girl.
Exactly.
And then, The second episode is just, it's good. I love the scenes where he's talking to the moon god. I love the scenes where he's, you know, transferring in between, his different personalities. Honestly, Kyle, I want to hear from you. I just keep saying nothing because I have no complaints. Um, I love this show. I love this show.
No, it's all good. Like you're saying it all, and like what you're talking about too with the whole mindfuck type thing. When they introduce a new character and when they introduce a new foundation to what they've already piled on top of themselves, it almost makes me wonder if they're giving us like a false sense of security, like with Lila, the wife that they're in the process of getting a divorce for. So far, I'm loving that character that I almost don't want to like her because I feel like she's just going to turn on him in a moment's notice. And like the whole thing for me is just a mystery. And even with giving Ethan Hawke's character, the main villain, a backstory that kind of makes sense and he's doing it for like a greater good. I
Yeah,
love what they're doing with giving the villains a grounded backplot where it makes sense what they're doing. It's just they don't have a good moral background to necessarily have it be done.
like I love it when in cinema villains you not only one they're relatable before they became the villain. They were a good person, all of this stuff. Then something happens to create that downward spiral for them to become the villain.
Mhm.
And then they're doing what they're doing in their eyes they're the hero, but in our eyes they're the villain, which is a very interesting perspective and concept that once you get into it, it's really like it's all about perspective. And that's actually
Exactly.
what's kind of interesting. Like for example, Man of Steel with General Zod. Well, General Zod isn't really a bad guy. He's what he wants to do is basically wants to save Krypton from extinction. But he's not allowed to do that because of who? Superman.
Exactly.
You know,
Just because Superman or Clark Kent fell in love with a species that has nothing to do with the Kryptonians.
so it is true that General Zod is a monster and he wants to wipe out trillions of people on the face of the earth, or billions of people, but he's doing it to save Krypton. His home, his reality, the only planet he's ever known his entire life. He didn't, and the only reason Superman says no is because Superman basically is like, Krypton had its chance. Now he wants, Earth to have its chance, which I can understand. But at the same time, it's like when you think about General Zod's perspective, in my opinion, he's not bad for not wanting his species to go extinct. He's bad because, I mean, he's willing to commit genocide to save it. But at the same time, you know, uh, Thanos had the almost the exact same motive. He's killing off half of the universe so that half of the universe can preserve itself. Because if the entire universe kept on going the way it is, eventually it's gonna collapse within itself. Because, like you said, all resources on every planet within the universe eventually will be consumed, and everybody's gonna lose. It's a lose-lose situation. So in a way, I guess the Avengers are the bad guys.
Yeah, and it's really cool too because even in like the Hawkeye series, we see mugs, we see shirts that say uh, Thanos was right, and the whole point of like an um, Captain America and the Winter Soldier is people fighting for what Thanos did. It just sets it all into a place where it's just like, was he right? It makes you question who you were rooting against, which is an interesting concept from like now. Honestly, we never really had villains that you were able to question if they were right. It was just always, yeah, we'll have them kill off a bunch of people so that way the audience knows they're the bad guy. There's a lot more to it than just that now, which I think is fantastic when it comes to cinema.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to find something to complain about with Moon Knight, and I can't.
That's all right. We'll not break that trend. We'll hope that they keep on
Yeah.
maintaining that rep.
Yeah. I hope so too. I hope so too. Like I feel bad because even though this doesn't really feel like a review on Moon Knight episode 1 and 2, and that's what this is meant to be. Um I guess I feel the reason I feel bad, like we've been talking now for what, almost an hour. And I think the reason I feel bad that the reason it doesn't feel like a Moon Knight review is because we don't have anything bad to say, like critiques or, I only have good things to say about it. I honestly cannot think of a single bad thing, from either episode.
Yeah, we'll just have to update the thumbnail where instead of it says Moon Knight episode 1 and 2 review, it'll just have like a red mark through it and say praise.
Yeah.
Moon Knight episode 1 and 2 praised.
All hail Moon Knight.
All hail Moon Knight. Let's do this.
All hail Moon Knight. Um, Geez, what else is there to talk about?
Man, I don't even know.
Uh,
Like we were tired going into this
yeah.
and we've been keeping it going. I'm
Uh,
impressed.
I loved his eyes. They reminded me of like Deadpool's white eyes. How they did that. I want to see more of that.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I kind of noticed with the eyes too is so I'm a huge fan of like space and space imagery,
Hmm.
and so far I've been loving what they've been doing with like imagery of the moon itself.
Yeah.
But when it comes to his eyes, they're not solid white. They have a almost like orangish brownish glow to them, as if it was the sun just reflecting off of them. And so it's like you're staring into what I'm going to call the soul of the moon.
Hmm.
And eyes just in general are the eyes to the soul. Or excuse me, eyes in general are the window into the soul. And so for them to have like that moonish glow to them, to have that not solid white, but that just slightly off colored tint where it makes it feel like it's not only reminiscent of the moon, but just being actually captured by a camera. It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It's incredible. I love. Oh, let me talk about one scene. I love it when he's going through the rooftops and he's being chased by it's like a hound, a mummified hound. I can't remember what he calls it. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
I love when he's sliding, jumping, running through the rooftops. His cape, totally reminds me of Batman. Love it. I don't have a problem with it because it's symmetrical and it pays homage to all of the comic book panels that you see within the comic books, within the comics.
Mm.
The imagery is there. Like I've been wanting a Marvel Batman because I guess I've been wanting a Batman film for the past 6 years. I haven't seen the new Batman movie, but the Batman film I had been wanting was the Ben Affleck Batman that we had got in that warehouse scene. when he kicks everybody's ass. That is my Batman. That's my Batman that I wanted to see, a 2 hour film of that, you know,
Mhm.
because I love Frank Miller's Dark Knight. It's everything I
Yeah,
want, and I feel like I'm kind of getting that, but with Moon Knight.
that's fair. That's a fair point.
So I don't know what else. What else really? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly excited for episode 3, and I'm excited to see just what they do next because I don't know if we're in the works for like a cameo that we either have seen before but in a different universe, like whether if it was from the Netflix series or if it's going to be like them introducing a Hulk into this or Red Hulk, even though the actor who played Thaddeus
Oh,
Ross had passed away.
it was
Um,
William Hurt.
yeah, William Hurt. I'm not sure what they're going to introduce, and yeah, I'm just quite frankly excited for the next episode, and I hope you, the viewers, are too.
Yeah, yeah. I think the viewers are. I think they are for sure. I am. Um, like that's another thing. I haven't really seen any negative reviews on Moon Knight. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, there's probably one out there. In fact, I should go. It'd be cool to like invite somebody on the show who has a different opinion. I want to like I wouldn't mind hearing from someone who you know isn't happy with the show. Hear from them
Mhm.
like their take. Why is it they're not happy with the show? What are they not like? Is it the story? Is it the music? Is it the tone? Is it the lighting? Is it the acting? But it's like with this show, like I said, it feels like they threw a bigger budget at it, and I think they
Mhm.
did. Um, because Moon Knight isn't that well known of a character compared to a lot of the other ones. Um, but however,
Yeah.
the people that do know him, it's a fan favorite. Um, so
One
like
thing that might be interesting is you and I, we actually know someone who wanted to study to become a historian of ancient Egyptian art and artifacts and mythology, and that's Megan. I wonder if we can possibly talk her and con her into coming a part of this journey, and if she's seen the show.
that would be interesting. Kyle, I know like 10 different Megans. Which one?
Oh, this is Murph.
Oh yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. That's another thing with the Egyptian mythology. Like, I want to learn more about that, and I hope they, like at the last episode when he wakes up and the pyramids of Giza are right outside the window. Um,
Yeah,
it'll be cool to see what they're gonna do. I'm excited. I'm excited.
exactly.
So
I'm all for it, buddy.
yeah, I like I said, everybody, I have no complaints. I don't really think Kyle does either. So if you came to hear us rag and bring down and hate on Moon Knight, I apologize. Like I'm actually really happy that the show is doing so good. So to be honest, I
Exactly.
think that's going to be our review for episode 1 and 2.
Alrighty, it has been a pleasure, and I cannot wait for our episode review of three and four if you want to do this in two-part segments.
Actually, yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. Like do three like 2 episode 1 hour each segments.
That sounds like a plan to me.
So like next time, maybe not next week, but the week after next, after episode 4 releases, we could do a review for 3 and 4, and then we could do a review for 5 and 6.
This sounds like a plan. All this to say, ladies and gentlemen, is be expected for more because we're not going anywhere.
No, we are not. No, we are not. We're here 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Let's tack on some extra days in the year
Yeah.
just because I want to be here more.
Yeah. 370 days.
370 days. That's a good even number.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle, I wanted to.
Alrighty. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. Oh, sorry. What were we going to say?
Oh, hold on, hold on. All right. Thank you for coming and watching Imperial Transmission, our first IT review regarding Moon Knight. And if you like what you see here, please subscribe, like, comment, do what you do, and do it good. And we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Stay safe, you guys. Have a great night.
Peace.